With this UICFlames.com women's basketball podcast, I'm Justin Weiner. Well, with the school year just around the corner, now is as good a time as any to meet one of the newest members of the UIC athletic staff, the 11th coach in women's basketball program history, Regina Miller. Coach, first and foremost, welcome to Chicago. How has the transition been for you so far, and what are your thoughts on the city of Chicago?
Well, thanks, Justin. The transition has been fantastic. It's been fairly easy, for me as well as my staff into UIC. I feel a little bit, on some levels, a little bit like a freshman. We talk about matriculating to school, and since April and over the course of the summer, everyone in the department has been great in helping us with the transition, from how things work in our department at the university. And then the city of Chicago is just fantastic. I'm an outdoors person, so I've been able to take advantage of fairly good weather over the course of the summer by getting out running and riding my bike on Lakeshore Drive. And it's just a wonderful town, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, Coach, you spent a little time away from the coaching ranks, a couple years in the private sector. Talk about your experience there and what you feel that could bring to your coaching experience here.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You would think, in our profession as coaches, I went 23 seasons before having a couple years off. And, you look at that as some people could view it as a positive or a negative. It certainly was a great time for me. And I wish all coaches could take what I consider a sabbatical. Professors do it all the time, at academic institutions, and I'm sure they do here as well as at UIC, by going on to do research and so on in their field. So in coaching, a sabbatical for us is to be able to go out and, my opportunity, I spent my time traveling, developing my coaching, developing my coaching, a bit more just in the game by traveling to different places like the likes of Stanford, Arizona State. I went to Pac-10 Championship. This past season I went to the Big 12 Championships and just interacted with other coaches. That's something that we don't get to do very often when you're so busy and active with your own college team. So it was a tremendous time for me to further my growth and development as a head coach in the game of women's basketball. So it was a fantastic time.
Well, Coach, you mentioned that you got 23 years in coaching. You take that sabbatical. What brought you back? I mean, you said you enjoyed it so much, but was it the itch that you really needed to get back into the coaching ranks?
Oh, I love the game. It's your passion for the game. And as I said, as I traveled and went to different practices, interacted with different coaches, and it just kind of reconfirmed the things, my philosophy. I was able to develop it a little bit more, but it just kind of reconfirmed some of the things that I was doing as a head coach, that I was on the right track. So, after a few years, you do get that itch. It's a passion that's in your heart. You love the game, and I truly do. So I knew this was the time for me to get back in. And there were lots of options that were open this past spring in women's basketball as far as head coaching opportunities. And I really took a strong look at UIC because I feel like this place has so much potential. I think the Horizon League is a great league. It's up and coming. Wisconsin Green Bay has been consistently a front runner in our league, but you need other teams to chase those teams that are in the top 1, 2, 3 spots. So I thought, this could be, in Vegas you would say jackpot, but in the Midwest maybe a gold mine, that I really wanted to come and accept this challenge and try to move this program into the upper echelon of the Horizon League Conference.
Well, you speak of the jackpot. Athletic Director Jim Schmidt pretty much feels like he hit the jackpot. He had some comments when you were first hired. He said, "We wanted a head coach that had great energy, was a good role model, and that placed an emphasis on each player earning their degree from UIC. In Regina Miller, we found a coach that had the experience, character, and work ethic that we were looking for, and it made for an easy decision to make her our next coach." When you hear that, what does it make you feel? What are the emotions going through you?
Oh, it makes me feel great. You know, it's nice to, and that was one of the other reasons. You know, after talking with Jim Schmidt during the process, as well as Tanya McGowan, that you know, I felt at this point in my career I wanted to be at a place where the support was there from the administration, and they wanted to move the program forward. And I think as a coach or a student athlete, if you have the support around you, anything's possible. And it was a good feeling, you know, it's almost like a feel-good feeling, for lack of a better word. But I just felt like it was a fit when I interacted with them, and Jim's comments to recognize some of the things that I've been able to accomplish throughout my career made me feel very good.
Well, you certainly had a few accomplishments during your tenure at UNLV, 10 seasons there, very successful, including 6 straight postseason berths. What made those teams so successful, and how can you transfer that to UIC?
Well, I think it starts with recruiting. And as soon as we came on board here at UIC, we hit the trail recruiting. You know, as best we could. We wanted to try to finish up the 2011 class and then focus on the 2012 student athletes, which we spent the most of July traveling, evaluating those student athletes. So I think recruiting's key. It's the backbone, you know, to any program's success. And so we place a big emphasis on that. And I think, you know, when you, some of the key ingredients that made us, you know, successful, not only with the recruiting, is that you have to have the right type of people. Not just, you know, either a good athlete or you have to have good people. And we were able to recruit in some good people into our program. And then I always look for young people or young student athletes that love to win, hate to lose. You know, if you have that going, you're going to be competitive. So you must have competitors. And then, you know, I just think the fire in our belly, you know, wanting to be the best that we're capable of being. I pride myself in trying to push my student athletes to be the best that they can be. By challenging them on the court, off the court, be the best students that they can be as well. So we were able to, you know, instill some of those key ingredients, which created a lot of our success. And once you're able to build a strong foundation, you can maintain that. And we were able to get that done at UNLV. And that's what I want to bring to UIC.
Well, Coach, sometimes when a new system is put into place at any university, there's a learning curve. Do you foresee that as being an issue this season, or do you think that you can mold the current roster into your system?
Well, it's going to be, you know, quite different for the student athletes that are in place now. And, you know, the team does have some experience, and, you know, 4 seniors, and 3 of them are returning starters. As we discussed, I think Shemaya Green talked about Jasmine Bailey, as well as Kara Strickland. And I think, you know, I haven't seen them as much, you know, obviously because we haven't had an opportunity to work with them yet. But I believe that as a coach, you recognize the abilities that you have in your program. They do have good experience as far as playing time, that I try to put in a system that will enhance their strengths. And certainly we don't want to, you know, exploit or bring out our weaknesses. We just want to enhance our strengths. So when I look at us, we do not have a lot of depth in the post. You know, at this time, with Katie being the only true returning post player, that will look to be more of a motion type offensive set team. And I think we got to create a lot of scoring opportunities from defense. You know, we're going to get out and press the ball and trap it all over the court, from full court, half court, you know, and try to score 60% of our points in transition, because that's really who we are, because of the lack of depth in our post area. And, you know, hopefully we can create success from that. And I would think that the players, it seems like most athletes like to play up-tempo basketball, but if you play, you have to do it well. You got to keep turnovers low. So I'm hoping that this team will buy into that, because it's a fun way to play, but it takes discipline, and that's why we challenge the team.
Well, Coach, now time to have a little bit of fun. We're going to go with some one-word answers here.
Okay.
Just a few questions here. And the first one, it's almost always asked to anyone who comes into the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
Baseball season's ending, but are you a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan?
Oh. Well, you hear about the Cubs all the time, but the White Sox are better. And I know that's not a one-word answer, so I guess it's Sox.
We like hearing that. Your favorite sport to watch other than basketball?
Cycling.
So
Yeah,
you like the Tour de France?
Tour de France. I was actually a part of that in 2008. I went over and rode a bikes with Trek Travel and rode some of the same routes that the pros ride in the Alps of France. So Tour de France.
So would you say that's your favorite sport to play per se, other than basketball?
Between that and running, yeah, cycling and running, me too.
Another big Chicago question: deep dish or thin pizza?
Oh, thin pizza. I know deep dish is what Chicago's known for, but sorry, thin pizza.
Thin pizza it is. Your favorite place to visit or your favorite getaway spot?
I have so many. That's a tough one. You know, I'm very fortunate. You know, Chicago, you have Lake Michigan. I do like the ocean. But I think, I mean, I like the ocean. You know, I kind of grew up on the East Coast, but the ocean, any part of the ocean, there is. I can't say east, west, you know. So.
All right, the last question for you is a very important one.
Okay.
Ketchup on a hot dog, is that acceptable or unacceptable?
Acceptable. However, I don't eat hot dogs.
Okay, it's not that. Hey, I'm fine with that. I am completely fine with that. I
Okay.
personally throw on ketchup with mustard on a hot dog, so I think
Okay.
it's acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much. We'll talk as the season gets closer, but really appreciate the time.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, Justin. Thank you.
That's the head coach of the UIC Flames women's basketball team, Regina Miller. I will preview the upcoming 2011-2012 season as we get closer. But that'll do it for this UICFlames.com podcast. For more information on the Flames, go to UICFlames.com or call 312-413-UIC1. That's 312-413-UIC1. This is Justin Weiner saying so long for now. This has been a presentation of UIC Flames Athletics.